Guys, Mount Vernon Kid here, coming to you again, and just wanted to get one of those other segments that I used to do on my main channel out. So welcome back to the newly improved Kid Recommends, but this time I turn it to, it's basically uh, movies I like and I recommend. So the first movie that I'm going to talk about is a very great sci-fi movie. Um, it was a blast to watch. Let's just put it like that. And this movie came out in 1997. And without further ado, guys, I give you The Fifth Element. This is a movie that I truly, truly recommend that you put in your collection. Um, this movie starred, jeez, Bruce Willis, the great Gary Oldman, Chris Tucker, Ian Holmes, and Mila Djokovic, the Queen of Kick-Ass, basically, as Hollywood likes to call her. This is her pretty much her big role. Um, think of this movie as a mixture of Star Wars uh, meets this. I can't even. There's so many futuristic genres that you can add into this movie. Uh, that was just a thrill ride from great story, great premise, great story, great action. It delivered. It really much delivered. Um, Bruce Willis plays a New York taxi driver in um, the future. I forgot which year they said it was, but it's way into the future because it's flying cars, people. Okay. Uh, but what you don't know is that he was also in the military before he became a cab driver. And unfortunately, he gets mixed up to save the world. He picks up a fare, or I should say that fare dropped into his cab, and it took off from there. Uh, but the real story begins mainly in the past. We see it from the past, like maybe 1919, I believe, where we see an archaeologist and his assistant reading texts on on a like a scribe, and it's it's basically describing the coming of this battle and the big elements of the earth, the four elements: water, earth, fire, wind, but a fifth element. And a priest who guards this is not really supposed to allow people to see this, so he's meant to kill them, but it doesn't happen the way he was supposed to do it. And the guardians who bestowed this honor on this priest and the people before the his ancestors before him come and stop them. And then it fast forwards basically to now, where we see what this coming evil darkness is. Um, and that's what it's all about, basically. It's like this darkness is in the form of a planet, and it's hurling to Earth. Now, Mila Djokovic's character, Lilu, is the fifth element. And she's like this super intelligent, super supreme soldier, basically. Like, she basically um, can learn everything really quick. Like, she has this little computer, and she learned martial arts right off of there. She learned how to speak English. In the beginning, she's speaking this ancient language, but it's really, if I'm not mistaken, Portuguese, if I remember correctly, on the the making, she said it was a mixture of Portuguese and Russian, I believe. And that's basically where we get to see her. The priest that is descendant of the priest that died, I mean, in the beginning, is now played by Ian Holmes, and he's supposed to guide her to get the four stones to activate the elements at the pyramid in Egypt. And that's where everything starts going really weird. Um, Bruce Willis was, as always, very superb and excellent in this movie. His very much forte and swagger that he always carries. Gary Oldman was, I you can never say anything bad about Gary Oldman. This guy, I've never seen this guy green in any role he's done. He played this character called let me say his name, Jean Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg, and he spoke with this real deep Southern accent. And if for those who don't know the nationality of Gary Oldman, you would swear this guy, if you've never seen him before, you would swear this guy is American, but he's he's actually British. So he really did a great job with it. And he is an agent of the darkness that is trying to get the four stones before the Lilu and the rest get it. Chris Tucker in this is this DJ called Ruby Rod, and he kind of comes off a little flamboyant, and but the gear that he wears is really funny. He was really hilarious in this. Him and Bruce Willis worked very well together. Their chemistry was really good. I wish it's a shame that they only did one movie together because the chemistry was like this. It was really good. Gary Oldman and Bruce Willis never met in this whole movie. They never met. Uh, but the costume work was great. The action scenes sequences were good. A lot of the alien races were really cool, like the what were they called? The Mangalores. The Mangalores remind me a little bit of a mixture between, for all my Mass Effect fans out there, Batarians and I can't think of anybody else, but there you go. Okay, yeah, okay. They also look like the locusts from Gears of War. They're like a mixture of that. And they were like also the main bad guys in this, and they kind of talk like this and make all these weird noises like they're almost about to burp. And for some reason, they always said they're. Chris Tucker's one part he had in there was really funny. He's like, I can't get a good look, but I see them now. They warriors. They got big foreheads and they stink. And everybody knew right from the get go what they were. So that part was really funny. Um, when Lilu finally cuts loose and shows off her skills, Mila Djokovic's character, it was really fun because at the time, which is one of my favorite scenes, this opera singer called the Diva right here, this blue woman right here, was singing while they were fighting. So it was really funny. It really went with the action sequence. Um, it also was a good development between Lilu and Corbin because she was still learning. So she never, like during the middle or the end of the movie, she finally looked up the word war, and she saw all the visions and images of war and things like that. And she went on to say what mostly a lot of alien movies and stuff, when we humans meet other races, you humans are so strange. You build things, but you use things to destroy as well. Um, and she started to really conflict about what is a real purpose if all you guys are going to do is build things to destroy each other. Why should I help? Why should I be here to help? So it kind of gave that fruition of the movie to really describe in a way of, you know, the balance between good and evil, dark and light, yin and yang, however you want to call it, and love, actually, because that was also the main purpose. She never experienced love. She needed no love. And that was the pretty big main sequence at the end to get her to activate her power was, you know, her and Bruce Willis's character, Corbin Dallas, and he's talking about, there are a lot of good things, and she said love, like love, and he's like, yeah, yeah, love, that's really good, and she's like, I don't know love. I was built to protect, not to love. And that's when Corbin went along and said, I need you very much. And that scene was really touching because she, the way she looked at him when, because here's Corbin trying to fight off, trying to say it in a way, but she, she's just pleading with him, please tell me, why do you need me? And that's when it comes to, he says, I love you because I love you. And, it basically, she activated her power and stopped the dark planet or whatever from entering Earth's atmosphere and destroying everybody. It was never really described why this planet was attacking Earth. It never really described that, but it could communicate, and I guess it had some kind of telepathic communication because every time some people were in contact with it, like this black or bloodish would start dripping down your head, your forehead, and things like that. Um, but this was a really good movie, guys. It was really fun. Um, a great if I was to put this, it's probably in my top 10 sci-fi movies because it was really that good. This movie was really, really good. Everybody did such a fantastic job. Even the supporting cast, from Tiny Lester Jr., who played the president in this movie, even came off like, yo, okay. I just couldn't see him now as just being Debo from Friday. He was actually really good in this movie. Um, but it really, really was. It very much gave me a very good feeling of, you could see why this movie was really good. Uh, Luke Benson directed this movie. It was directed by him, and I got to give him a lot of props for it. He did a very fantastic job of the 23rd century, which was really good. Um, Would I want to see a sequel? Because that is one question every time Mila Djokovic is at Comic Cons or any kind of cons, they always ask her, is there a Fifth Element 2 coming out? Well, would you do it? And she always says, yeah, I would thrill at the chance to do it again. And I don't blame her because, she's always in these action movies and she loves action, and you can see why she's got the nickname Queen of Kick-Ass. You know, um, there were just so many parts in there that was just really funny. I just named you one. But I definitely do. This is a movie that I love and I like, and I do recommend. I do recommend this, guys. Um, you would not be disappointed in this movie, not at all. And if you do see this, and as always, something new now. If you do remember watching this movie and have it in your collection, tell me what was one of your favorite parts, and how did you feel about this movie overall. But other than that, guys, I want to thank you for listening to me run my mouth a little bit on The Fifth Element. Um, a very classic movie, sci-fi movie that I really love and recommend. But other than that, this is Mount Vernon Kid. Real talk. um, you guys take care. And catch you on the flip flop.